pretty good. Had a pretty good day today. Quite a chill day today, considering I had a mad day yesterday.
Mate,
Um,
we are recording this off the back of your 12-hour
mhm.
stream. How you feeling about
Really good actually. It was quite a landmark thing because I took a month off streaming, not a month off, a year off streaming,
that?
and then made a comeback in February a couple months ago. Wasn't really sure how it would go, if anyone would still be around, if anyone would care or show up. And they did. It's obviously been a lot less. You get to a certain point and you expect the same level of engagement. Then a year break is a long time. Though people have
Yeah.
lives to live and they go off to other things. Um, I wanted to do this as a kind of benchmark to see if I could still do it, if it was still a
Mhm.
viable option, if streaming was really going to be. Obviously, the first thing is streaming has to be enjoyable for you first, and
Yeah.
then viewership comes second. It's secondary in the process, but basically to see if it was still doable. People would turn up. People cared, and they did. I got
Awesome.
so much love, and yeah, gave me a really big boost. So
That's cool. It must have
sticking
been like a
around for a
nice
while
nice
longer,
confidence boost.
definitely.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
it
because
just
you
makes
had
me
a
feel like it's
sorry, go
worth
on.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you have such a long break from streaming it or like any content, there's so much anxiety and nerves and like thoughts and feelings about coming back.
Hmm.
I've come and gone many a times, but like a
Yeah. Yeah.
year out is a long time to go without streaming. And obviously, I know you had internet issues and
Oh
moving
yeah, of course.
house and things like
Yeah.
that. So,
It's
but
been
no,
quite a year. It's quite a year actually.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll dive into it,
Quite
but
eventful.
firstly, yeah, welcome back to content. It's nice to have
Thank
you
you.
back. You got your new stream set up, your new content.
Hmm. It's my first time doing something recorded. I don't think I've
Really?
ever done. Yeah, I think I've only ever done live. So
Oh, no way.
I keep expecting to kind of see a chat at the side and be like,
Yeah,
have
yeah.
something to respond to in real time, which is kind of what I thrive on, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a different dynamic. I remember
mm.
when I first moved from Twitch to YouTube, I would start so many YouTube videos like, "What's going on, chat?" I'm like, "Oh, wait, like, I'm not talking to chat, I'm talking to" yeah.
Yeah,
No. No, it's cool. It's cool.
that's
Well,
fine.
have you not been in, like, recording sessions or stuff that we've done before?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Maybe. Did you ever record that demonologist session like 2 years ago?
I think I
Not
recorded
sure.
some, but I don't think I ever edited it.
Mm.
Was that
Okay. I mean,
that can't have been
I
how long ago it was?
yeah, it was. I still think about it though. I still think about that.
What?
It was such like a landmark gaming evening for me.
I
Um,
actually I took a break from TikTok for like maybe nearly 8 months. I just didn't use it. And then
yeah.
I loaded up. I've started using it again in the last month. And one of the first videos that loaded up was actually you uploading a demonologist clip from that
Oh yeah.
session. I was like, oh, dude, no way. Like, that's
What a
so,
sign.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we should run that back.
TikTok's one of those things where you just need to use it in a sensible way. Like, it
Yeah.
can be ridiculous,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's
You
quite
can,
fun to kind of use it. Um, I used to really put pressure on myself to post clips on there to kind of I need to do this to get big, or whatever. But
yeah.
now I post fun stuff or like clips that I find fun myself, and like stop worrying so much about the outcome. And just upload for the fun of it.
Yeah. Because
Um,
you have some iconic TikTok videos.
I was looking through my Twitch clips the other day, and there's some incredible memories on there.
Yeah,
Um,
like cheerleader
it,
outfits and
oh God, just makes me. I look back and think it was so worth doing. It's such like a weird journey. The difference between 4 years ago to now, 3.5, but
hmm.
it's quite crazy to see.
Is that when you started, 3 or 4 years
I
ago?
started October 2021. I remember it really clearly because I just started a new job like 2 weeks before,
Hmm,
and I just moved into the new flat a month before. Um, and my old flat, we had no. I'd have wanted to. I had no capacity for it. I had no desk. I had no um tech to go with it.
mhm,
Um, I invested in like a basic mic. In fact, my first stream, I actually can't remember what was even. I think I had like a red rectangle behind my camera as like a overlay type thing.
right,
I just played the game. And it was just really, really raw. And it's
hmm,
quite. And seeing the progression from then to now. I feel like my setup looks quite semi-professional now. I feel like I look
Yeah,
like
it does.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's just not the
You
case
kind of
at all.
fit the
Yeah.
3 to 4 year mold, like, you have been doing this for a while.
That's true, yeah, I feel like a
Yeah.
veteran in the scene now. I
Yeah,
I,
right?
um, I joined this group recently just to kind of get back into the Twitch, like, swing of things. Like a community of small streamers,
Mhm.
um, and they kind of offer each other advice and just, like, have a little community to chat to about streaming and how it's going and all this stuff and support each other. Um, and I see some of their streams starting up, and I feel like I'm in a genuine position to offer, like, really good advice, and
Yeah.
I can actually be really helpful about this. I feel like I know the platform. It's a weird thing. My whole life, right, this is a bit deep, but I've never felt, like, particularly good at anything in particular. I've never really had,
Hmm,
like, one standout talent. Um,
right.
never I've been generally okay at most things, but, like,
Mhm.
when it comes to this, um, or to Twitch, I feel like I know the platform, I know what you need to do on it. People ask
Yeah.
questions like, "What's a raid?" I feel like I can really in depth explain like how that works
Yeah,
and
yeah.
why it's good and all this stuff, which is really interesting. Um,
We're back. We had a few technical
oh,
issues.
classic. It's so on brand for me as well.
It is so on brand for you.
I'm so renowned of having internet issues. I had bad internet for about 2 years straight. So of course, after a perfect day, both our internets being perfect, it break just as we started recording.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It would not be a Lukey podcast without it, really.
so true.
But
It feels very like exclusively me now.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just yeah,
It's like
it's
how
meant
I
to
wear
be.
bandanas, you just have connection issues and yeah. What we were saying before about how we feel like we're in a I mean, you started October 2021, did you say, in
Yeah.
streaming? Well, I started as October 2021 as well.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly how we met.
I started I got a feeling 1st of October. Yeah, how did we meet? It must have
'Cause it was
been
obviously through Twitch.
I think it was through
Um,
Panda.
Panda, that's very
Confused
likely
Panda,
actually.
Do Panda.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. He came
Yeah,
in yesterday actually after being AWOL for
no
who knows how long.
way. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Insane.
I loved that
Um,
man. I sent him a
yeah,
message a couple
so
weeks ago. We were trying to have a catch up, but with time zones
mm,
and work, it's just a bit difficult.
yeah.
But oh man, that
That
guy's
does
such a
sound
legend.
right. He bought I think he might have introduced you to Cal as well,
Yeah,
very likely.
yeah,
You
he
two were
was.
kind of intrinsically linked in my head because it's around the same time.
Mhm.
You kind of overlap communities a little bit. It's
Yeah,
just,
for a long time, Cal and I
mm,
were just like that. Like
mm,
everything he was doing, I was there, and everything I was doing, he was there, kind of thing. And
right,
it,
yeah.
we did. I feel like we did kind of merge our communities for a little while,
Mm.
but
That's my earliest memory of you existing,
mm.
I think. Um, and
And
then
then
how did we get from that point to gaming in, like, 2023? I can't remember. I actually can't
no,
I don't know, there's no timeline in my head that links these 2 events.
we
It's
kind of
like
just like just were around the same spaces constantly. I
mm,
think we would hop into each other's
it
streams.
might have been maybe 2023 that we properly, met maybe, and then we
Yeah,
went from there. We just realized we're both fucking great people.
yeah, pretty much.
And just
I do have a
gravitate
core
to
memory
people.
from Twitch of raiding you.
Okay.
And I don't have I have no idea how many people it was, but there's like a good handful of people that were like
Mm.
ready to bring some hype because you were like
Yeah.
your whole style is just like having a good time, music,
Yeah,
just vibing. And I just remember your whole
yeah.
chat, the people that came over from my chat, and it was just like half an hour of just constant like emoji, like just people just dancing
I used to have
emojis
this
and
thing where I got
vibes.
on a Taylor Swift Love Story remix and then dance around to it, and that was like when I got a big raid, I'll just put that on. Everyone go fucking mental.
Yeah,
Um, that's very likely what happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolute core memory. And
Nice.
then it's crazy how like we went from that kind of knowing each other for quite a few
Mm.
years, gamed occasionally, never like week in, week out, always
Yeah, yeah.
playing. And then we actually met up for the first time
So
last year.
No, EGX the year before, wasn't it?
It
It was,
was EGX, yeah. EGX end of 2023.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes. That was
I think
it.
I invited myself along to that one, thinking I didn't know I didn't know it existed as an event.
Mhm.
I saw you and you lot were going, and I thought I need to go along to this. I can latch on to this group,
Yeah.
and rather than going on my own. And from there, just never looked back really.
No,
Um, it was
and
such a good
then
day.
that was a good day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was just like
Um,
I wish there was more. There wasn't as much content stuff there as I would have thought. It was very much
yeah, true.
around gaming, wasn't it?
Mm.
But that was a
Um,
good group.
I do remember a few fun things. There was like you pose of a giant Sonic. Was that one of them?
Yeah,
And then they had like this horror game set up where you look like you're floating
that
above
was
the
like
bed.
rotated to the side,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. The giant
And
Pokeball.
lots of fun kind of like picture ops, but not much
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
I enjoy the vintage gaming, and was it you that
yeah,
ripped Guitar Hero? Like,
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
insane. My first impression of you was you fucking ripping Guitar Hero at the hardest difficulty, and I couldn't believe my eyes.
Oh
I was,
man,
like, starstruck.
we kind of garnered a bit of a crowd there. I remember kind of just turning around. There's like, oh my god, there's like 6 people, but 6, 7 people watching us just shred. Oh, what song
Mm,
was it? Cliffs of Dover by
oh, really?
Frampton, I think. Yeah, oh, great
Okay.
song. Yeah.
I was captivated. I'm gonna stick around this guy. This guy is clearly a guy.
Yeah,
Anyone with a ripped Guitar Hero is someone you need in your life. You
for
need, like,
sure.
one friend who can just
Yeah,
rip
there's always
Guitar
that
Hero
one
at a moment's
friend. Yeah.
notice.
I'm getting a lot of Guitar Hero on my TikTok feeds now. It's quite a big live streaming thing
Oh, yeah. I
because
mean,
you
Fortnite integrated it, and then
oh
it went
really?
mainstream again, yeah. So on
I
Fortnite, there's
didn't
that
know
whole
that.
Guitar Hero game mode. Um,
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
so yeah, it made it popular again, I think.
You have Clone Hero as well now for PC. It's like
Oh, yeah?
basically like a torrent version of Guitar Hero, and you can just get any song you want.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, so you
Um,
can. It's just endless then.
I remember playing Guitar Hero 3, must have been, like, what, 20 years no,
What a
20 years ago?
game.
No. Maybe
20.
20 years ago, you know?
I think
Could
it
have been.
came out in about
Um,
2006. I want to
okay.
2006, 2005. Yeah, Guitar. I'm sure Guitar Hero World Tour came out in 2008 because that was the first one I got.
Okay, I'm gonna Google this because it's very important
I
lore
got
for my
it
life.
must have been 2006 ish
Okay.
because I
There's a
remember
few
getting the
songs on there that even if I hear them now, I only think of Guitar Hero.
yeah, same
It's not really
same
a genre that I really listen to, admittedly, but oh, it was Legends of Rock. That's what it was.
Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was had like Through the Fire and Flames on it. It had Pearl Jam, Rock You Like
there's
a
a song called
Hurricane,
Barracuda.
Barracuda.
By
Dun dun
heart.
dun dun
I
dun
will
dun dun
never
dun dun
forget
dun dun.
that
Yeah.
on there. Yeah. Um, I
What
wonder if
else?
any
They had oh I remember
Hit Me With
typing
the
it if
Best
you
Shot.
yep, Pat Benatar. That Pat Benatar? I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah. What else they had? They had Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses.
nice. Yeah, yeah. I think it might have been my first Guns N' Roses like life experience on
Yeah. You know
Guitar
they're
Hero. What a
touring
great!
again then now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were alive.
Wow. I think they're
Got
all still
Alice
alive.
Cooper as well. All
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah, so many
Um,
great songs.
so it's like a formative moment of my gaming, my gaming
Yeah.
life. Like Guitar
Dude,
Hero 3. I'm like,
I moved into this flat last August, and the first thing I did was just set up my old Xbox 360 in the living room,
incredible.
whipped out the old Guitar Hero guitars. Like, Jaylee would get home from work like during the summer,
Mhm.
excuse me, and I'd just be sitting there, standing up, topless in the living room, just shredding Guitar Hero.
I love that you still own those. I don't know where mine could have gone over the years. That's a
Yeah, they
it's like
became a bit of a
an
collector
actual
for me.
antique.
Yeah, I think that was like my collection in gaming was Call of Duties, FIFAs, and Guitar Heroes. They were like
Oh,
the
really?
three
Nice.
games, the sets of games I could just never get rid of.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The games, to be fair, they're the games that like Call of Duty and FIFA that come out so much. You're
Yeah,
never gonna be lacking content of those, are you?
yeah, it's mad. But what sort of like led you into getting into gaming then? What was like your
Um,
earliest gaming
my
memories?
my earliest gaming memories is on the PS1.
Mm.
I was one of a PlayStation
Nice.
family. My dad was obsessed with PlayStation. That's all through my dad. So they had the PS1, and I remember playing a game called Simpsons Wrestling on the PS1,
I remember
where
that.
it was two Simpsons characters wrestling.
Yep.
Also, one thing I've been consistently a fan of my whole 28 years on Earth is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mm.
I'm not ashamed to admit this. I've got like a collection of like 3,000 cards here. I've got
Really?
played like games my whole life. I played Yu-Gi-Oh games. I'm currently watching the anime. I just bought like the whole chunky anime set of all of it.
That's iconic. That's
Um,
legendary.
Obviously Yu-Gi-Oh games have always been a thing, and there was one on PS1 called Forbidden Memories. And like I don't know if you know much about the card game Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not gonna
I know
go
Blue
into it
Eyes White
yet.
Dragon, Dark Magician, and that's about
Okay,
as
fair
far as
enough.
I get.
Um, but it was I'm still obsessed with it, always was. But in this game, in the game mode in general, there's a thing where you can like confuse two monsters together to create a new monster.
Hmm.
And in this PS1 game, they simplified that to like you could try and fuse any two cards in the game, and sometimes it turned into a fusion, sometimes it wouldn't. And me and my dad had a thick notebook where we wrote down every single attempted fusion we tried.
Oh my.
I still have it. I still have that notebook.
That's
It's not like
awesome.
a core thing in my head, but
That's a great memory to have.
I kind of kept that approach to gaming my whole life. Like I am very much a completionist gamer.
Hmm.
I like to collect things. I like to try everything. I like to explore every corner of games. So my main gaming is like single player story
You
games.
do
I
a lot
play
of story
mostly for
mode, yeah.
stories. And like I said, I've never really been a skilled gamer, but I love stories.
Hmm.
Um, I studied creative writing. I write stories. I read loads of books. I watch loads of films. I really enjoy escapism into other worlds.
Hmm.
Um, and gaming now, modern gaming is like unparalleled in terms of the escapism you can get from it. You can like
Yeah.
genuinely
They're movies.
vanish into like another world and be completely encapsulated by it.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, since my whole life that's been my gaming kind of philosophy. Still littered with hundreds of hours of FIFA every year without fail.
It's like that
They
toxic
managed to rip
ex.
me away. Yeah, it really is. Every year I'm like, oh, I won't buy it this year, but I always do. And
Yeah,
it's
every
so
year
it's
without fail. It's
um
crazy.
yeah.
This year is the first year I haven't bought a FIFA and or Call of Duty
Oh wow.
release since Call of Duty Modern Warfare in 2007
Oh my
when I
god.
first bought it on my Xbox 360. I bought the 360 from Woolworths with Modern
Oh man.
Warfare and
Woolworths
FIFA
memories.
'07. That's the first
I
time. So,
remember going to Woolworths to buy my Yu-Gi-Oh cards and get a
yeah, yeah,
commix, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
you go, oh,
You could get anything from Woolworths. I still have a Yu-Gi-Oh in somewhere. I have like
oh
it's like
really?
half Pokemon cards and half Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Because I was
Nice.
into Yu-Gi-Oh for like a little
Mm.
bit, but like Pokemon was like my main.
Yeah,
But
I
I
think Pokemon
dabbled.
has overshadowed it a bit. But actually, it benefits me as a Yu-Gi-Oh fanboy because all the Pokemon cards are getting ripped and the price is skyrocketing, and like
Ooh,
you can't even get packs now. But Yu-Gi-Oh
yeah,
cards, like under the radar, I
still
can still
available.
very much get them. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh man.
it's been good for
Yeah.
me.
I
Yeah.
always wanted for Christmas the deck arm from Yu-Gi-Oh, like the thing that would just splay across your arm and
Oh
you
my
could put your
god, I had a
deck,
couple
your
of those.
cards in
I'm not
there.
even
Yeah.
ashamed to say,
I
yeah.
asked one for like 4 years straight and I just never got it.
Fair enough. My parents were like, "Why the fuck does
Yeah.
my child want this thing?"
Yeah, literally. That was
On TikTok now, like literally as of right now, there are still TikTokers live streaming with their like the arms, the things on their arms, and they're
no way.
dueling on live stream,
I
like
respect that so much.
across the world, two different people. Um, you can tell
Dude.
they're the sort of people that don't get out a lot.
Hmm.
They're the sort of people that are live streaming playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm such like a it's like a guilty pleasure almost. I wouldn't like brandish to everyone I know that I love Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's such a
Hmm.
I mean, it's just stem from that PS1 game. Who knows
That's
how
where it
many
was
years ago?
born.
That's be one of the very earliest memories. It had the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime on like cassette tape.
Oh my
No,
word.
I mean like VHS, on the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
videotapes for the Yu-Gi-Oh series. Um,
The actual anime is good though. I remember
yeah,
being
I'm
quite
loving it.
into that. I actually think I was
Um,
more into that than I was the card game.
okay, yeah, fair. I'm obsessed. I'm
I
not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to say it. Just
you know
start this video talking Yu-Gi-Oh and Star Hero 3.
yeah, we will move on, but I do just want to say just before one last thing on Yu-Gi-Oh is I actually blame Yu-Gi-Oh for my hatred of eBay
Oh, interesting.
because
Okay.
I'm sure it was Yu-Gi-Oh, not Pokemon. There was a Yu-Gi-Oh set of cards where you got like 5 different cards and it
Hmm.
formed like one great
Oh,
eternal
Exodia. Yeah.
Exodia.
I know all about that.
Yeah, oh, that name's just sending neurological sparks through my brain right now. Um, that I remember ordering Exodia off of eBay, begging my mum to get it for me, like begging, begging, begging. I was like, "This is the set I need. This is what I need for my Yu-Gi-Oh deck." Turned up just fake cards,
Oh my
just
god,
completely
devastating.
fake. I have no recollection of how much it costs,
Mm.
but I was just like, and
I
I've never
remember
trusted eBay
getting
since.
basically in every Yu-Gi-Oh video game, it came with like cards.
Mm.
They used to give you like 3 cards you couldn't get anywhere else with the release of the game. I collected all of those. My parents, I think they got me Exodia. They do the God cards from Yu-Gi-Oh. They
Yeah,
got me
yeah.
those as well. Um,
Jeez,
yeah,
all
God, it
in,
was
all in.
all in.
Yeah,
And still now the
I
damage has been
respect
done.
it. I
I'm still
respect it.
spending my adult money on Yu-Gi-Oh. Although to be fair, my favorite things now is adult money buying things for child me. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
really a lot of money as well. Things are like not cheap.
yeah. We've
All
taken.
the Yu-Gi-Oh cards I bought. Um, yeah, I bought every single set you could possibly get from this one collection they've done.
Hmm.
Um, and my mission is to sort them all out in an adult way, like sleeve them all, like
Yeah,
set them all up in a big binder. And it's going to be such like a enriching therapeutic experience that child Luke. It's like healing
yeah.
child Luke with
You're
a Yu-Gi-Oh
healing
card
your inner
obsession.
child. Yeah,
Um, yeah, so worth it though. So worth it.
that's probably really good for you for the mental though. Like that
Mm.
is fulfilling in a way. Like it sounds
Yeah. I've always
whatever.
been a big collector. In games, out of games, you can see some of my ridiculous stuff here. I just love collecting things, holding things in my hand that like real
Hmm.
collectible items. Um, and I did have a point to make and I've forgotten. But yeah, collecting has always been a big part of my life, and I love collecting things now that a child me would have loved. That was
Hmm.
it, the therapeutic part of it. One of my big things, I love to have a project. Um, so little things sometimes. So Panini do stickers, and every now and then they release quite a cool set. Like they did like a Across the Spider Verse sticker set, and they did like a
Right.
Warhammer 40k sticker set. And I bought those stickers and had those albums on the go, kind of project for a certain amount of
Nice.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Again, it's kind of all leading back to that thing that child Luke would love that. So I'm like healing my inner child by doing these things, but it's just such
yeah.
a it's so therapeutic. It's
It's
cool.
fulfilling.
So cool to collect something and have it there to look back on.
Hmm.
There's something about that that's just so intrinsically part of who I am, and
Yeah.
definitely comes back to my dad. He does exactly the same thing.
Really.
Um, my
Ah.
dad used to get like collector's editions of video games. Um, he got like a collector's edition Skyrim that came with like a statue, and that statue was in the front
Oh.
room of the house. My mum hated it, but I was like, yeah, that's who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, that's a role model. That's what you
Mm.
need. Oh, that's fantastic. It is
Yeah,
so
that definitely
true
comes
though.
out.
I have a Panini sticker book. The only Panini sticker book I've ever collected is the 2006 World Cup.
Oh my god, yeah,
I'm
iconic.
about 17 cards short.
Oh, what? How
I've
you get
never
on
got
this
round
old?
to finishing it, but every time I do a clear out of my house or whatever, it survives. I'm like, I
Never
can't
let
get
it
rid of
go.
this. I can't
Yeah, I
get
know
rid
what
of
you
it.
mean.
So I think
Were
I
you
do
ever
need to
on
go.
the the football cards type of like 2005, 2006, 2007?
Oh yeah, match attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, match tax back. Those were the
I've still
years,
got them
and
somewhere.
shootout before that as well.
Shootout, yeah.
Oh my god, that's such a informative. Honestly, all my collecting addictions now really do track back like 20 years. Yeah, it's so funny.
It's great though, as long as you're not like getting yourself into debt over it, then
No,
it's
yeah. My fiance does often say, "We're trying to save for a wedding." I'm like, I bought a new set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards."
Maybe you can make it a centerpiece at the wedding. Maybe you could
Oh my
like
god, imagine.
just
Yeah,
like the
I've had
Yu-Gi-Oh
to.
cards just in the flowers on the center of the tables.
That's a very cool idea. I've had to tone it down a bit in the planning to not go too overboard, be a bit more neutral with my.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got the Tottenham colours in the wedding. No Tottenham branding, just the colours.
Okay.
Like white and navy, the colour scheme. I think it's quite a nice colour scheme anyway.
Yeah, most
I
weddings are halfway there.
managed to like sneak that in and she's on board with that. But I don't want to go overboard. Let's say let's have a Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
centerpiece on the tables.
Have you seen the people that do weddings that have like WWE entrances and things like that?
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, what I love about weddings is you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, people can enter whatever songs they want. They can dance. They can do fucking
Mm.
WWE. I mean, yeah, it's just
It's like there's no right or wrong. It's
insane.
your day. It's whatever you want. I remember I used to do before I was into like content. I used to do like videography. I was obsessed with making home videos and not in that way, but like making memories and I would just film stuff. And I ended up getting into doing wedding videography for a little
Oh,
while.
cool.
So I used to just people I know that pay me a couple £100 and I would make them a nice pretty film.
Nice, yeah.
And I did one for he was actually a manager at work of mine, and he was a massive Star Wars nerd. And I
Nice.
still remember right at the end of the night, they're about to have their first dance. They're walking up to each other, and the Imperial March starts playing.
No way.
And she starts freaking out, like what? And then their music, their actual like first song
really
dance
funny.
starts
Love
playing.
that.
But that was
My problem is that you hear about things like Star Wars nerds, Marvel nerds. What if it was like a literally everything nerd? There's no one franchise I like over the others. I can never differentiate one obsession from
no.
another. I just love
Yeah.
everything. It's hard.
I struggle. It's the ADHD in me. Like I say I'm ADHD. I'm not diagnosed, but my brother's
I'm the same.
diagnosed. My mum is, and I'm like 99% sure that I am.
Okay.
But so yeah, I just can't afford the test basically. But I just hyperfixate on something, and then I will just be obsessed. I'll deep dive on everything that is Pokemon, and then I'm like, bit of Marvel, deep dive on Marvel completely, and then just
I have a very mild version of that. Because like I said, with my collections and everything, I get really into one thing at a time. In terms of like my collections and things. But then I'll start like 8 collections, and then they'll be half finished, and I have to keep going back to them one at a time to try and finish them.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I would feel just awful about not being able to complete anything though. That's
You
just
need to get that old football collection done. You need to get it just finished.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna for my inner child.
Yeah. For inner child. Just imagine you like the payoff of saving that through so many house moves is gonna finally be done.
It really is. I don't think they're even like rare cards that I need either. I've got the like 21-year-old Messi in there. Like, wait, like,
Pretty cool.
when you flick through it and you see the players, like it's so cool. You're like, oh my god, I forgot he played for this team. Like, yeah.
A lot of discourse lately about how was so and so year actually good, or were you just a kid? Like, but then for me, having those things now brings me as much joy as it did back then. So, but I do think it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, I suppose it's a nostalgia. Could you call it like a nostalgia bias? I suppose.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. It's like a time before you had to pay taxes. Was that just better? Like
yeah.
free. Like when you were at school, you hate school, but you don't realize how good you have it. School was like comparatively such like finishing the day at 3 p.m. getting to go home and then have the rest of your afternoon. Like I can't even imagine that now.
Literally like 5 1-hour classes or whatever it was, and you'd get a half an hour break in the morning and a 45-minute break in the afternoon. Like,
Great
spend
times.
it all day with your mates. Like it was,
Yeah, yeah.
for the most part. I mean, when I wasn't getting bullied, it was great. But
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. Not to go full therapy session in here.
no, but
To go on a deep dive
but
into
while we're on
trauma.
the subject,
Mm,
you do have a bit of a story to tell.
mm.
You had a bit of a year last year.
Yeah, talking about work actually and how, you know, adulting in general, it really does all come from that really. So,
hmm.
um,
Yeah, so take us back to the beginning.
yeah, um, I had something else I was gonna say, but it
Yeah,
might come back to me.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the world of work as an adult. Oh yeah, I remember. So, my whole life I've been extremely optimistic, positive, never let anything really get to me. And kind of, I saw people with anxiety and thought that could never be me. I could, I felt so immune to anything like that, any kind of negativity. I'd brush it off. I'd rise above things. I wouldn't let things get to me. Um, on the flip side, I'd feel really, really affected if something bad did happen to me. I don't know what the root of that is, but um, it's something like if it's something unfair, like objectively unfair happened to me, I would be so confused because firstly, that's not the energy I put out into the universe. So why does it come back to me? There's no karma
Hmm.
waiting for revenge here. Like it's just something unfair that happened to me. I'll take it really badly. Also, criticism, I'll take it really, really badly.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but it's interesting because I'm so innately positive in everything, and maybe it's to do with that. Maybe it's like having that like worldview shattered temporarily, and then suddenly it hits me
Yeah.
harder. It could be something to do with that. And that does lead into my story quite well actually, because in all my workplaces so far, there's been learning curves, there's been highs and lows. As you get into the world of work, um, I have uniquely gone down the white collar work route. So I've always worked 9 to 5 at a desk, um, emails, meeting. That's just the world that I know, and I have nothing against that. I really enjoy that. It's kind of not what I always wanted, but I saw a real comfort in the normality of that, and every day
Hmm.
you have the same routine, um, and yeah, it's not as volatile as other workplaces can be, where
Yeah.
some people really
Yeah.
want that like a new experience every day, the human face-to-face interaction. I've never really been too worried about that. I like the safety
Consistency.
of a
Say,
nine to
yeah.
five. Yeah, definitely the consistency. Um, So I've had a few jobs. Graduated in 2018, and straight into an internship, and that was a real learning curve. Obviously, I was 21, fresh out of uni. But I what's the word? The phrase I could duck to water. Like, I knew it's for
Took
me
to it
straight away. There's
quickly.
this
Yeah.
the style of work, the way
What
the
kind of
office.
work were you
Like,
doing at the time?
so I was a campaign intern, which was working on a campaign the company were doing um, to promote good news stories about the sector that we were in.
Hmm.
Um, it was really cool. I got to be really creative. I got loads of cool opportunities through that. I really developed the taste for the world of work. Little things like it's quite like a bespoke culture in there as well. Like like after work drinks and
Hmm.
dress down Fridays. Little quirks like that that you really learn to love over the years.
Yeah.
I was getting to learn all of that. I went into my first day in like a suit, and they were like, you don't need to wear a suit." Like it's very. My perception was everyone goes to work dressed to the nines and is extremely professional the whole time. But I really got a taste in that. I was there for 18 months. I really got a taste of what the world of work is like. I dispelled any illusions, like preconceptions I had, and really got into it. And that was like a set contract thing. So I knew after that I had to find a new job.
Hmm.
But that ended in February 2020, which
Right.
is famously a month before COVID and lockdown started.
Oh yeah.
Not the best time to leave a job and suddenly not have
No.
one. Um, so throughout all of my story, by the way, there's a lot of privilege, there's a lot of luck, there's a lot of things that fell into place for me. I do want to acknowledge that because I know that it's not going to be relatable to everyone.
Mhm.
Um, People have called me fluky Lukey because things a lot of the time have fallen in place for me. I do want to acknowledge that because it is I do like the privilege is definitely there.
Is that a
Um,
result of your positive outlook on life, though?
it's
And
possible. Maybe a lot. Obviously, there's always going to be an element of luck to everything in life, but
mhm,
it's a chance that I've kind of really put the groundwork in place and put the building blocks there for good things.
you've
If
put
good
it out
things,
there.
yeah. So, for example, that analogy works perfectly for this. So, I went for a job interview the last week of Feb. My old job let me go during work hours, had this interview, and it was amazing. The work basically perfectly carried on in terms of skill set from where I already was, which was pretty good.
Mhm.
A jump in pay as well, um, and really good positive interview. It was like in Trafalgar Square office based London.
Ooh,
And I
nice.
was like, this is going to be incredible. Um, and then COVID hit, and then I found out I hadn't got that job.
Oh.
Um, and then a week later, they called me and said, actually, the first choice turned it down. So you can have this job. And so I was like, oh my God, okay. Um, and then, God, it's a fucking roller coaster. Just thinking about this. And then they said, actually, we don't need you until
Oh.
like later on in lockdown. I was like, oh, okay. So from March until June, I was unemployed during that first lockdown, and I think there was a lot of benefit to that ultimately.
Mhm.
Um, I played a lot of games. I tried a lot of like it's quite an explorative time in terms of trying to um get money because I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I've got nothing coming in. I need to do something. I've tried a bit of like professional copywriting, freelance. I tried a bit of I started a online magazine with my fiance for creative writing. So we both come
Oh,
from creative
nice.
writing backgrounds and degrees. We love writing. I had fallen out of love with writing, but I loved the idea of like critiquing writing, opposing other people's
Okay.
writing for them. So we
Mhm.
started that up, and that's quite a good project to get stuck
Oh,
into.
interesting.
And I was doing a bit of like social media around that in my own time, kind of honing some skills in that way.
Mhm.
Um, and then we did a charity short story competition on that, and I'll speed up this testimonial because I'm going to go into
That's
every
okay.
little tiny thing. But in that we did you paid for entry to the competition for a cash prize, um, and half of your entry fee went to charity, half it went to us.
Mhm.
And we were very open about that at the start and everything. And that got us a little bit of money coming in. It was a real time of like exploring these
Yeah.
little avenues. Um, and then June started, and I started this new job, and it was um, all working from home. There was no that was still a time of like really strict COVID
Yeah.
regulations. Um, and at this new job, yeah, I mean, again, duck to water, working from home the whole time. We're in a very, very tiny flat, the two of us. So it could have been a struggle at times, but we managed. The job was going fine, had ups and downs. Like, um, I've got IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and that can
Mhm.
really affect my ability to like get to things on time. So
Right.
there'll be a meeting at a certain time. I was like last minute I have to cancel because I couldn't get off the toilet, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and that had some challenges because they started to think if you keep cancelling on meetings, maybe this isn't the job for you. But
Yeah.
um, it was there's a whole other story in there about my journey with that and how my physical health as well.
Mhm.
That kind of underpins everything. Again, it comes back to I was like nothing bad happened to me. My health's perfect, my mental health's perfect.
Very
Nothing bad anything happened to
happy-go-lucky.
me. Um, but yeah, I've had some real like growing and real growth through having these challenges happen to me, and then how
Yeah.
I've risen, how I've like found ways to adapt and control that.
Mhm.
So where did I get to? So at this new job, working from home, I'm just going to fast forward. I was there for a year and 4 months. I
Mhm.
never met a single person at a company in person the
You've been
entire
at
time.
home the whole time.
Yeah, it was quite
Wow.
insane. But I also in that time, no, actually, that's a lie. That whole time, I think I was in that full flat working from home. I don't know how I managed it. Um, and that was like working just on a computer on my sofa most of the time. I didn't have a desk or anything.
Uh-huh.
Um, Proper like struggle work conditions. It's
For a
quite
lot of
interesting.
people, that sounds like, oh yeah, like, I'd love to just do that, sit on my sofa all day. But when you think about it,
Yeah, yeah,
you're not really actually interacting with anyone. You're in, like, say, you're in a
yeah.
small flat, you're on the sofa, which is supposed to be your relaxation area,
Exactly. That's
which is
another thing. Like
actually
there was
your
no
work area.
separation from work and life. There was
Yeah.
like I would sit on the sofa and work, turn the laptop off, and stay on the sofa. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah. So
there's actually a great meme that's like, I love coming home from work and swapping the big screen for the small screen or something, like turning off the
right.
work screen and then going onto the like the
Yeah.
relaxation screen. Um, but yeah, that's quite an interesting experience. But obviously nowadays, like working from home has become embedded everywhere. So every company
Yeah,
almost
it's just the norm.
will. It's just normal to work from home, and that kind of really helped me develop those skills. Like I had to develop a lot in terms of my online meeting mannerisms and like learning to have chats remotely
Mhm.
online. And who knows, maybe that fed into some of my streaming skills later down the line.
Yeah, 100%.
I was so used to talking to a screen by then. It was a second nature. Just
Yeah, you don't even think
yeah.
about that really. Some people that
Mm.
transition to working from home had never even owned a webcam before, like,
Yeah, yeah.
let alone speak into it and have meetings
I
about.
feel I feel for the older generation had to suddenly adjust to it because for me,
Yeah.
I'd only been in work like 2 years by then. Um, and my first job I was in the office Monday to Friday. And then I was actually doing a working from home day at there because of my IBS as well. And then it went fully remote, and then it went hybrid. But I've really been on that. I luckily as a person that loves tech, grew up with tech, knows it inside out.
Yeah.
It was very easy transition for me, but I bet for some others it wasn't. That's
No.
quite interesting to think about. Um, yeah, I finished that job. That's also a fixed term contract, which means it ends after a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
Um, then I applied for a new job. So my skill set has kind of been digital comms, which encompasses social media, email newsletters, um, any kind of digital hosted, writing platform. All of my
Mhm.
skills reside in that basically, and so I went down the social media route in my job applications, my job roles I'm looking for. I applied for one that was really low pay. I applied for one that's a bit more pay. And it's really interesting again. I didn't get the lower paid job, but I did get the higher paid one. I was like,
Huh.
I got rejected by the lower pay and accepted for the higher pay. Yeah,
Lukey, lukey.
yeah, fluky looky. I couldn't. One of those things where I had like three interviews in one day, all remote, and one of them I thought went amazingly. One of them I thought didn't. I got one that I thought didn't go as well. Um, Again, fascinating
Funny
to
how that
think
works, isn't
about.
it, sometimes?
But yeah, it's good. Fluky again, but like every job I've got to this point has been more pay, which is not a normal thing. That's not like a normal thing to happen to people.
Mhm.
But I did have the skills. I had put the work, and I did have the experience to,
You'd gained experience.
you know, it's not like I had no experience and got a high paying job. But I had got the experience and the work done
Yeah.
to make me qualified to be in that position to get that job.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it goes back to that thing about a little bit of luck involved, a little bit of privilege, but ultimately there is work there
Yeah. You still
that's
put
like
the effort
underpins
in.
all of that.
Mhm.
Um, and then I was at another job for a year and a bit, and um, doing their social media channels for them. That was really good. It was a very different office environment. It was more corporate. It was a lot more serious. There wasn't any room in their social media to post for like jokiness. It's all been like public sector stuff. So it's not been marketing where
Mhm.
you get to be a bit playful with it. It's all like
Bit more creative.
um, this is more like factual social media where
Right.
you're posting for quite a serious audience, like serious things. But it worked. It was paying all the bills. It was
Mhm.
again building that CV, building that resume up to have the work experience and the skills and everything I needed.
Mhm.
That ultimately didn't work out. That's because the serious tone of social media, I didn't want to stay in that forever, so I kind of wanted
Just
to
wasn't
pivot
you.
somewhere else.
Mhm.
Um, and then during my job hunt, I got head hunted by a recruiter who offered me something I hadn't been looking at, which was for a university role doing student communications, um,
Mhm.
which I've been working in mostly social media for a couple of years. And this new role was like looking after a whole range of channels, so different, all for one audience, but kind of different tones of voice and different styles depending on the platform that you post it on.
Right.
Um, and that was at the university in London. And it's still where I work now, so I've been there for 2.5 years now.
Mhm.
Um, and so I joined them in December 2022. The first few months were great. They had just restructured the team there, and my role was a brand new role, which helped me out a bit because there were no, there's nothing. On one hand, there's nothing for me to build from, but on the other hand, there's nothing to compare me to. So I could really kind of
Right.
make that role
Your
my own and
own.
develop
Yeah.
it. So the person that now worked alongside me had been doing two roles in one, but now they broke off to do one half, either the other half. Really
Right.
good for a few months at the start. Um, and then the thing with universities is there's academic years, and it's the same things happen every year. So the same things can happen at the same time of year every year. That's just how universities, they work. They've
Yeah.
got the same students would arrive every year at the same time of year. There's the same, you've got the Christmas break, the Easter break, the exam weeks and things. You always know that these touch points are coming up.
All the same
Um,
processes.
yeah, which
Yeah.
meant that I felt prepared, um, that I could do something the one year, come back to it the next year, the same thing would be needed, I can build on it and go from there.
Right.
But at this point, I hadn't yet gone through a whole cycle. And about 6 months in, it was all fine. Then about August time, it all went a bit pear shaped. I had to take on this giant project, which was fully within my job role's remit, but it was a lot of work, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people needing sign off from or for input, and it was a lot of work. And I don't fully remember situation, but I don't feel like I um had much of the support I needed during that time. I think there's quite a lot of change. To be fair, that whole period of August to September at that job, there was a lot of turnover with staff. There was a lot of things changing,
Mhm.
um, and my manager changed hands a few times. Um, my manager's role changed
Right.
hands a few times, and I was trying to adjust to that each time as well. Um, and it was quite a difficult time, but I thought, I got through it. But I think the damage had been done, but I just didn't acknowledge it. I was like, I just got on with it because every day there's work to do. Just log
Right.
on, do the job.
So what were you
Um,
kind of feeling at this point? Were you starting to feel like overwhelmed, or like was any anxiety building, or were you
um,
kind of not really paying attention to anything and
I
just
think it was bubbling up under the surface, so I hadn't acknowledged it. I wasn't feeling it overtly. It was kind of
just
it's kind of
brewing?
like the crack had been made, but it wasn't any bigger
Uh-huh.
than that. Um, then a new manager came in, and in my first week, I just monumentally fucked up over and over again. Not in like a behavioural way, in just like a um, I forgot my password to log in. For the first time that ever happened to me, I forgot it. My manager was like, "How have you forgot your password?" Then in that same week, I made a mistake in something I'd done. It's like, okay, it's my first impression of you is you forgot your password and made a mistake. And then
Oh.
I used to do this thing. I left my laptop in the office, then go in the next day and just not have to carry it home with me every day. But
Mhm.
then this one week there was like storms and like train issues, but I wasn't thinking. I left my laptop in the office, then had to go into the office to get it. I had no choice. There were storms and train cancellations. I was like, I've got to go into the office. And they're like, why? Just stay at home. I was like,
Uh-huh.
but I left my laptop in the office, even though I could have foreseen that there would be train cancellations. So for the first week this woman has seen me in,
Oh god.
I've made all these errors.
It's like three
Um,
errors or like that you'd never
yeah,
normally make
and
consecutively.
my confidence was crushed because I one a thing about me is really thrive on positive enforcement, not even necessarily compliments, but like just like generally like um trying to think of it, and like trying to think of examples. Like G me along a bit, like give me little bit of a push
Yeah,
along.
yeah. Like a bit of like an acknowledgement of the work that's being done, kind of.
Yeah, I think that's it. And then if I do something badly, I take it to heart. I know, like I've never done it wrong, and then, um, yeah, I mean, I had conversations with my therapist about this 6 months later. It got quite interesting, but that was all happening. And my confidence was knocked, and
Hmm.
I'm a very confidence-based person. When I'm confident in something, I do really well. If I'm not confident, then the quality of that thing dips a lot. Um, and she was seeing this. I was seeing this. I was seeing be my work performance go down. I was not performing how I knew I could, and
Hmm.
she had only ever seen the side of me. She'd never seen me do good work. She'd only ever
Yeah,
seen me
this
do
is
this
the
bad
only
stuff.
thing, the only kind of
Um,
person she'd seen of you. Yeah.
yeah, and my confidence was not. And then we had to start this new project. I just didn't get it at all. Um, and then one day she asked me to do something. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I physically don't know what I need to do for this. It's actually upsetting me. So this is about October time. Like I said, I take it really personal when I can't do something or when I do something wrong.
Hmm.
I take it really to heart. So this has been a building up, like snowballing, basically this whole month and a half, getting things wrong over and over again, not understanding what I was doing, my confidence
Hmm.
being knocked. It's really not in a good place. It was purely work related. My personal life was all completely fine, really healthy.
Hmm.
Everything was great. It was just work that was dragging me down. But the thing is, with work, you're there for over half your week. Like you're over half your week. You're in it. You can't escape it.
No.
You can't like duck out of it at a moment's notice because ultimately you need the money.
Yeah.
Um, and I also have a lot of anxiety around losing a job, but in reality it's really really hard to lose a job. You have to like do something
You could really
catastrophic, right?
mess up. Yeah.
Um, but
Or you
I
just
had
bad luck of cuts and things like that.
yeah, true. I have this anxiety around losing a job, even if it's like not realistic or there's a word for that where it's like um irrational. It's like kind of like an
No
irrational
rational fear.
fear of being fired from a job and then the consequences of losing the money for it.
Hmm.
Um, and there have been a couple of scares. Obviously, I that one job at the first job, I almost didn't have a job, and then the second job, there's that low point, my IBS. They weren't sure if it was for me, and I had that anxiety then, and then it all came flooding back to this moment. I was like, I've been performing so badly for so long. What if, what if this, what maybe that was what kicked it off. The thought of losing
Those
my job
thoughts. Yeah.
yeah, that was really bad. Um, and my manager wasn't impressed with my performance because I've been performing badly at work. And then um, it got to that point where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I physically don't know. I honestly don't know if I can do this piece of work. Um, And then she called me, we had a chat, and she said, "What's up?" And I was saying that I was feeling really stressed. These are feelings that I never really felt before. So I was
Hmm.
struggling to process them. I don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, I've always been so comfortable, so confident, so positive, and suddenly my whole worldview was like, "Wait, I can't do this." And what do I do now that I can't do this? I had no idea how to approach that.
Which makes it
Um,
so hard to overcome when you have no experience of having to overcome
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was really lucky because in the workplace, and that's the company I still work for now, um, they had amazing processes set up for me. I'll go into that in a minute. But the first thing she did was help me with prioritizing my tasks. So I
Nice.
really needed some help just kind of knowing what was most important, what can I get through now to shorten my to-do list, and then go from there. Just make
Hmm.
it um, less of a scary thing. If you've got like
Less
8 tasks,
overwhelming.
yeah, if you've got 8 tasks to do, and you don't plan them out. You just got 8 tasks floating around in your head. How do I pick? I do think
Yeah.
that mild ADHD does come into it a little bit because I was like, starting to prioritize which task to do. I'll start one task, get halfway through, and wait. Oh wait, for this I need to do this, and then something
Yeah.
else. It all kind of happened like that. But the manager was supportive. She gave me this like support plan to prioritize my work and everything. Have very regular catch ups, and then I I was still stressed throughout this. It was making my work more manageable, but the feelings didn't go away. I was still feeling stressed. I
Hmm.
was very anxious about going into work because my performance had been knocked, my confidence had been knocked so much. I wasn't believing I could redo the work to the quality that I thought I could.
Yeah.
And then my manager was like, um, quite you could notice that she wasn't impressed with what she was seeing, and that maybe
No.
knocked me back as well. Um,
Yeah.
and then I can't remember exactly what got me there, but I ended up having a GP appointment about anxiety. Um, and I really don't know. I really can't put like a thread from one point to the next, but I ended up having a GP appointment. This is 2 months after this manager joined, which is kind of the point that bad first week kind of kickstarted it, and then
Yeah.
2 months on having the GP appointment. Um, Things were slightly better, but not really. Um, Performance wasn't great at work still, and I was feeling very anxious about going into work. Like I never had such bad. They call them Sunday scaries, right? You get Sunday evening, at work the next day, and your mental health
Yeah.
plummets. Um, I never had it this bad. It was like it's like all encompassing. All I could think about on Sunday evening was, oh no, I've got work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um,
That's an awful feeling.
and um, Obviously, I was thinking about like, do I leave this job? Do I try something else? It got to that point. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could do that job. I thought about, do I go and stack shelves? Like, do I do something? It doesn't,
Hmm.
because my job is quite a skilled job. Like, you need to know what you're doing, how
You
to
can't
do
just,
it.
it's not entry level. You can't just walk in
Yeah,
and, yeah.
I thought maybe I need to do something like shelf stacking to ground myself again, and find get confidence back. I guess
Hmm.
trying pretty simplifying what I'm doing to try and get some to do something well again to build the
Yeah.
confidence back up. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and it really did cross my mind. But this GP appointment, she prescribed me my first anti-anxiety medication. It was sertraline. Um,
Sertraline.
and yeah, so I think it seems to be the first one. A lot of people I think who've had anxiety and depression have been on that.
Right.
Um, and one of the main side effects is like the first few times you take it, your anxiety will absolutely fly up. It'll be,
Really?
and it's quite a well known side effect of this medication.
God.
And so I put off taking it, knowing that I was like, I don't really want to experience that.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially coming from someone that's never actually had to deal with any of this kind of
mm,
mental health, like real struggles or things like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
because that's
Again, it
quite a
was all
jump to
very
go
new.
from nothing to 2 months in, all of a sudden I'm on anti-anxiety meds.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
big jump.
Was a big jump, and it was my manager. I told her about the medication 2 weeks after I got it, and she was like, "You should have taken it 2 weeks ago." And I was like, "I know, but I was scared to." Um, so I did eventually take it, um, and then, as predicted, anxiety went through the roof. I can't even actually explain. It was absolutely mental. Like it was like a whole
Really?
body experience, like shakes, just pure worry, like just it was absolutely
Just
insane.
like
It was only
constantly
a few
thinking.
days. Like really dry mouth, like really like physical symptoms as well.
Yeah.
It's quite a shock, and I actually like medically it makes a lot of sense. Your brain is like rewiring itself.
Hmm.
So the first time it does that, it's like what
Your
your whole
brain's
body's
like,
like, what's going on?
whoa, what's the
Yeah.
heck?
Um,
Yeah.
I went to work the next day and broke down crying on call. I was like shaking, like anxiety through the roof. I don't even know how to like describe that, but just worrying about everything.
Hmm.
There wasn't even room for positive thoughts to go through my head. I was just worried about everything. And she said, "Yeah, we're going to sign you off until you can get the hang of this,
Yeah.
get hold of this." Um, and so we did that. I spent 2 days. It actually really helped. I had 2 days to finish up my work slash hand it over. So handover is obviously where you
Yeah.
tell
Pass
everyone
it to
what
someone
you need.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, he passed on your project to someone else. I had 2 days to do this, and that meant I just had to fully lock in and couldn't think of anything else but getting that handover done. So I knew that handover meant freedom in terms of I got away from work. So I locked in for 2 days straight, worked solid like 9 hour days. Sounds not doesn't sound like a lot, but in 9 to 5, that's above usual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got this done, handed it over, and then Thursday, it was a Thursday morning. I remember that my first sick day. And I woke up. It was a bit surreal. I still had the medication going on, but I didn't have work, so
Mm,
I instantly felt more relaxed. And it became so obvious that work was the only thing
yeah.
creating these feelings. Um, the first day felt really weird. It felt a bit wrong. I felt like, oh, should I still be around if they need me? Like, had I handed
Did you
over
feel?
well enough? There's still
Yeah.
these thoughts.
Did you feel like
It's
kind
really,
of guilt or anything? Like,
yeah, I guess so. There's that kind of like, also a bit weird. In my job, I'm the only person at my job that can do my job. There's not like two of us doing the same thing.
yeah,
Other people can like physically do it, but there's no one to immediately cover for me. And I knew as well they would have to jig a lot of things
like
around,
shuffling. Yeah,
like to make it work. And I think I had that guilt. Like I know me being off is going to cause them more work.
cause other people stresses and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that really played on my mind. Um, and also, this is actually mid-December now, and the week before Christmas break. And so, interestingly, at unis, you get extended Christmas break because the students or the university closes down. There's no work to do for like a week and a half. So, I had that coming up. So basically, I had a week of sick leave, and then it went straight into Christmas break after that. So I had like 2.5 weeks, actually 3 straight weeks, off work. And the Christmas period was really good, really joyful. Spending time. One thing about me is that I have like, me and my fiance have really healthy family dynamics. Um, really strong family bases there.
That's good.
Um, we went to both our families over Christmas, had a great time. And then we get into January, and the day to go back to work arrives, and I'd done everything I could to prepare for this. I'd been like done like mindful activities the night before, they had a puzzle and things, like really trying to like lock
Hmm.
into this positive mindset. And then I logged on, went onto a call with manager, saw her face, just burst into tears again. Like, I don't really, it's really strange, right? Because it's almost like um two different people. Like,
Yeah,
have you seen the TV show Severance at all? It's
I
quite
know
popular in
of.
the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the concept in that is that you go to work as one person. You have no memories of what you did at work, and then you basically clock in, and you clock out, and work
Hmm.
happened, but you don't remember it happening. And it was like one guy had been at work, one guy had like gone, had his holiday experiences over Christmas, had a great time, and then I was like instantly thrown back in to this really dark. I mean,
It was
maybe I
just
see
like
it like really dark time, really bright time, and then that's straight back into dark time. It's not really
there's no grey
transition
area.
between
That
them.
so
Yeah.
through all this, there's no kind of overlap between. There's no real like struggles going on like outside of work. So you're taking
No,
your time
yeah.
off work. You're not still getting anxiety from other things. You're feeling almost like back to a bit of
Yeah, I've
normality.
really, when I wasn't working, I felt fine. And that's really interesting. My personal life completely fine as well. Also, my family were worried about me. My fiance
Hmm.
was worried about me, but ultimately everything is really healthy and fine. And it was purely work. Work was the only thing giving me any kind of anxiety. Um,
So how was that not that last night before the Sunday scaries?
um,
Like how was the?
but I mean, I was very anxious, but I thought I had done enough. I thought I was doing all the right things to like combat it. I
Hmm.
thought that if I, you know, like had no screen time, if I did all these things, like do a puzzle, read a book, these things would somehow counteract the
Hmm.
anxiety. Um, but waking up in that morning of work, it was not good. I knew straight away, I was like, this is not going to work. yeah, I got into that first like video call, saw my manager's face, and I started crying again. I was like, "This is so weird. I haven't felt like this for
Yeah.
3 weeks." Then instantly back into this work environment, and I'm off the rails again.
Yeah.
Um, that's quite hard to deal with as well. There was no consistency in how
I
I
can
was
imagine.
feeling from work and not to work. Like I couldn't clearly I could separate the two because
Mhm.
outside of work I was feeling okay, but as soon as I got into work, it was just meltdown time. wasn't gonna um wasn't gonna get anywhere. And she took one look at me and said, "Right, I'm signing you off again." Um, she signed me off for a month now, which um I was like, on the one hand, I was like, great. On the other hand, again, I was like, oh no, that's another month they've got to figure things out without me.
Yeah.
Um, then the thing of being signed off work is you need it to be backed up by like a doctor's note. You need like the medical proof, or at least just the
Mhm.
policy at my place of work. They needed to know from a medical professional this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Um, so I had a meeting. I got the doctor's note um, diagnosing me with anxiety. I think there was a real underpinning of depression as well. I don't really. It was just like a whole all-encompassing dark cloud. I couldn't really differentiate the feelings I was feeling. I just knew work was bad. I went to work, I'd feel bad, and I need to get away from that.
Yeah.
Um, and I have to notes it. Hang on. I
Mhm.
Yeah, she signed me off, and we so I we worked from basically my company's policies and procedures and everything.
Mhm.
I was very very lucky with a few things here because my work had a very well embedded like employee care program set up where um I think it was an external company that provided the service, but like I got
Yeah, it
four
normally is.
free therapy sessions through the service. I had paid all this was paid time off work the whole time I was off
Oh,
sick.
wow.
Um, yeah, like really lucky stuff. But it really helped me. And also, Lukey again, by the way. Basically, the exact day I'd gone on leave, I'd entered my second year of service at the company, which bumped up my paid leave allowance.
Oh,
If
wow.
I got on leave one day earlier, I would have lost a month's worth of paid leave, which is
Jeez.
absolutely fucking insane.
It's crazy.
Um, yeah, it really, you genuinely couldn't write it. Like, you
No.
can't. And I was at that point when I went on leave, it was the furthest thing from my mind. But
Oh, so
suddenly,
yeah, you don't even think about it.
you get into the bureaucracy of it, and you realize you can't just leave work. You need to stay in touch with them, tell them how it's going.
Yeah, you have to, like,
No, give
check-ins.
them documentation that proves you're medically unfit to work on all this stuff. Um, and so great, I'm off work. I can stop thinking of that for now. I had a regular catch ups with my manager still to see how things were going and track my progress. Um, but yeah, I'm off work. Great, that's the worst bit out of the way. I can now get on with recovering and trying to
Mhm.
deal with this. Um, And as part of my taking the medication, my GP was regularly catching up with me as well to kind of see how that
Oh,
was
that's
going.
nice. Yeah.
Um, so I had so much support during this time, and I feel very lucky to have had that. I don't know
Mhm.
if it would have worked out the same way if I hadn't. But my manager was checking up on me, the GP was checking up on me. I had my fiance at home, and my family there at
You
my
had a
beck
lot
and
of
call whenever
healthy
I needed them.
circles. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. And but the medication I can't remember what the reason was for going from sertraline to what was a citalopram. Um, was the second medication I took in like mid Jan. I can't remember why the transition was for those two.
Mhm.
Um, exactly. I can't remember like what exactly. Yeah, the conversations I had with the GP clearly led her to think this one would be better for you.
Yeah.
Um, And then I was on citalopram for about a month. During that time, I've been signed off for another month because I wasn't better enough yet, and I was new issue would come up, which was that I couldn't sleep.
Right.
As a side effect of the medication was to do with sleep, and it was really affecting my sleep. Um, and I
It has
couldn't
its own
really
struggles.
see what the mental benefit of medication was at the moment. I'm
Hmm.
sure it was doing things, but there was no tangible day-to-day difference I could see.
You didn't have like tangible proof
Um,
to see that like this is working.
yeah, all I knew was that work. I couldn't do work, but I could do not work. I could be at home all day and be fine. Didn't get out that much.
So what
In
sort
the
of things
first
did you get
month,
up to?
I really threw myself into my hobbies,
Hmm.
and one of those was watching films, which has kickstarted a full-on obsession now with kind of um, watching films as an art form and really genuinely embracing that and going to cinema a lot and all this stuff.
Hmm.
Kind of kickstarted that because what do you do with all of this time suddenly, um, which is genuine free time because you're getting paid for it and
Yeah.
you're recovering from something pretty serious.
Uh-huh.
Um, and there's a lot of guilt involved because I was like, I feel fine right now. I am sat on my sofa watching a film. I feel like completely fine. Um, but then the thought to go back to work was lingering there. I could not even face that. So I knew there was still somewhere to go. My fiance described it really well. She was like, all the guilt you're feeling, if you broke your leg or if you like broke your arm, you wouldn't be able to work. And you wouldn't feel bad about that because your arm was
Hmm.
broken. You can see your arm was broken, and you can't work.
Yeah.
But with mental health, you can't see it, you can't tangibly
Yeah.
understand it.
It doesn't mean that you can still do your job, but you have to treat
Yeah,
it. It's got to be treated just as serious, or if not more serious.
yeah, so true. Um, yeah, it's really interesting. It's obviously the first time in my life that I've been having these feelings and having these emotions.
Hmm.
Um,
Must have been a very confusing period.
It was very strange. It was yeah, the whole thing genuinely is a blur. Like September was when it started, right? October to now mid-February.
Hmm.
Um, it's all a blur. I can't remember much of it. I can't remember much about how I felt during that time. I couldn't tell you what happened day to day. The whole like signed off period just goes into one blur. But I do remember that I slowly got out more as the time went on. I was like, it gets to a point where like I've got so much time off here.
Hmm.
I need to do something with
Yeah.
it. Um, and I know that things like lying in bed all day is perfectly valid when you're going through like a mental health crisis, and that's a very tangible way to recover from it if that works for you. And I did actually for the first few weeks. That was how I dealt with it, just doing absolutely nothing.
Hmm.
Um, uh, and then the start of February, I was signed off for a second month, and I started to get out more. So I went to like a birthday event on the Saturday. And again, so much guilt. I was like, how can I be going out and socializing
Yeah.
but not be working? Um, and I felt terrible about that. But I went to this event with friends, and at this point, none of my friends knew. I told a couple, but none of this friendship group knew, and I told a lot of them there what's happening, what's going on.
Hmm.
And it felt so good. It felt so good being candid about it. I can't remember anyone having that conversation with me or saying to me that they're feeling this way, this happened to them even. That's another thing as well. If you don't know anyone that's been through it, you haven't got anything to base it on. No,
Hmm.
you don't know what to expect. Don't know. Yeah, you just can't.
Yeah. You're in a
And
world of
since
unknown.
since I've been speaking of this experience more candidly, I've had quite a few people say to me, "Thank you for talking about this. It's really helped me." Like
Hmm.
since I've had a couple of friends take mental sick leave from work. They hadn't thought about it before, but they knew I'd done it, so they've gone and done it. But I'll get onto that.
That's incredible.
That's still coming. But went to this birthday event, told these friends about it, and I was like, speaking about this feels really good.
Hmm.
Um, they're all very understanding, and just felt like I was really doing something positive, so a really negative experience, like
Hmm.
really
It
um
turned it from a negative into a positive.
yeah, exactly. So I was having this terrible experience, but I could tell people about it and help them, and that's how I got to this point today because I feel like I could talk about it. People
Hmm.
might not. know the options there. They might be feeling bad at work, not know they can take sick leave for your mental health, which you should. Um, and I still do now take days off work when I'm not feeling mentally up to it, or I need a recharge.
Mhm.
It's a very valid thing to um, yeah, um,
Yeah,
do and take
100%.
sick leave for.
100%.
Um,
It's exactly the same as you would take if you had been thrown up all day and
exactly.
you
Yeah,
can't like you and you're not there physically to work. You can also not mentally be there to work. It
yeah, that's exactly how it works. Yeah, people don't think about it, and so I'm trying to make more people know it's an option that they should explore it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I had that happen. That was a really good experience. That really reinforced that. Also, it reinforced I could socialise. It'd been a long time since I had.
Yeah.
I then found some other really enriching ways to spend my time outside. So, we got a restaurant like a 15-minute walk away. I went there a few times on my own for like a fry up and just like put myself into
Nice.
that experience, chatting to the servers, not chatting, but like interacting with them
Yeah.
and being out there in the world and in society, trying to
Kind of human
reintegrate almost.
interactions and
Yeah. I think that really helped. I
mhm.
also got really into charity shopping, which not necessarily buying all the time, but just being in and around charity shops became a real source of
Amazing.
comfort for me as well.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it, but charity shops are like a portal to another world
I
because
love a chazza.
everyone there is like a volunteer, so they're there 'cause they want to be. You obviously find treasures now and then that are really
Mhm.
cool, and even if you don't buy them, even seeing like an old book from your childhood on the shelf, like, oh, that's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I spent a lot of time in that charity shop just because that was such a really just comfortable place for me to be. I
Yeah.
think, and again, doing that thing where I'm building up my confidence, going out
Mhm.
there, having more interactions, going
Yeah.
further and further afield each time. Um, and eventually, I did a day. I got a train 20 minutes away and spent a day somewhere else, and it was like the same vibe as charity shopping, but I was going to all these other shops instead. It was a lot busier. And now I'm talking about this for the first time, I can see how I built that up,
Yeah.
slowly taking bigger and bigger steps to, um,
You can actually see your
yeah,
progress.
yeah, exactly. I can see how it started off going on my own to a restaurant, and then I went to a charity shop, lots of people around. Then I
Yeah.
went somewhere even busier and had a great time there, all on my own. I've always
That's
been
so cool.
like an introverted extrovert, so I
Mhm.
am very, very comfortable on my own. I have no issue. I've always loved doing things on my own anyway. Um, like cinema was a great thing to discover and take up because that's a really easy activity to do on your own.
Yeah.
You just go into a dark room on your own, escape into a world, and there's no noise, there's no like distractions or anything. It's a really just healthy activity to do on your own. I would recommend it to everyone, by the way. Go cinema on
I
your
would like to
own.
do that more.
See a film that you are gonna love. I hope obviously you can't always tell, but you can do you'll know the
Even just
sort of
risk
things
it.
you like.
Even just
Also
risk it
risk
for
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just for the
Um,
experience of being on your own and just having that whole like you said, that blacked out time. You're not sitting there on your phone at home on the sofa scrolling
yeah,
while like yeah, you're immersed and you are like dedicating time to this activity.
yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed that. And I was getting out there. I was getting out and about more, getting all this fresh air, all this stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and I could obviously I didn't acknowledge it at the time, but my confidence was definitely creeping back up. I was definitely building that resilience again. Um, I couldn't face work still. That's still a very scary proposition. But
Hmm.
doing these other things built my confidence to a point where that became possible. Um, and so back to the sleep issues I was having, I went on to the third medication. Um, it's still anti-anxiety, this one, but it's also a sleep aid, and it's called mirtazapine.
Right.
I'm still on it now. It's been a year and 2 months now I've been on it, and it's really, really worked for me. So, um, I genuinely couldn't tell you the difference in feeling in terms of I
Hmm.
couldn't tell you what's happened in terms of um, you hear a lot of stories about how antidepressants can kind of make you numb, but I don't feel quite numb. But I know that I don't feel extremes of emotion as often.
Mhm.
Haven't felt anxious in over a year.
That's
Um,
amazing.
my sleep dramatically improved. Um, and yeah, I don't. I obviously it's really hard to tell, right? How much of this came from medication? How much of this came from me building my confidence, taking these steps to go places and do things?
Mhm.
Um, During all of this, I was really discovering my priorities in terms of um, I I have an issue. It's not really an issue, but I have every hobby. Like I I read, I write, I watch films, I play games, I collect things.
Mhm.
There's not enough time to do all the things I want to do.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like narrowed that down during this time and found and um, also, I couldn't lock on to one thing I wanted to collect either, and it's something of me. I love collecting. I mentioned that earlier. But my new love of film led to a real purpose in collecting physical media,
Mhm. Okay.
and um, you know, there's a lot of films that aren't on streaming nowadays. The streaming is everything. You can't not have a streaming service subscribe
Mhm.
any time because you need that content there. But lots of things aren't on streaming, and DVDs also have like bonus features. That's a lost art now. There's no streaming. There's
Yeah.
no bonus features. But yeah, there's something clicked, and I was like, this is it. This is the one for me. Um, and last year I watched 380 films,
Oh,
which is
wow.
obviously a insane number, so over one a day. Um,
I love how you kept count.
and yeah, well, I got help by an app called
Okay.
Letterboxd, which is like a film app.
I've heard
For
of that
every
actually.
film ever made, you review films, rate them out of 5. You can make a watch list to add films you want to see.
Oh,
You log
nice.
every film you watch on there. That probably helped as well having that database of stuff there. Um, but yeah, I watched so many films, and then it got to a point where I could start like critiquing films. I started to really understand what's good and bad in a film.
Mhm.
Um, and found a real purpose in not only that, and also the whole time, by the way, by watching films, you're seeing your escapism. You're getting the benefit of watching a film each time. Um, you know, and I'm one of those nerds that likes characters and story and like you mentioned, that's videography, but really appreciating good shots and stuff in
Yeah.
film. Um, every component of film really became an obsession for me. Um, and it became a safe place. I knew I could watch a film, escape, then review it and keep track of it, um, and then you start like discovering different styles of film and different genres you like and don't like, and
Mhm.
um, there's like so many great films are like foreign films in other languages, and you wouldn't normally think to go there because it's an extra bit of
But there's
effort.
so many out there
Um,
that are gonna
yeah,
be class, aren't they?
yeah, and it got to the point where you also you kind of I joined like the edges of some film communities, and they were like recommending films. I add them to my list and watch them.
Mhm.
But you can see by my passion building that it's became such I just knew it was for me. It probably will be for life now. And my
Yeah.
dad is a film reviewer, and
Ah, okay.
it's the same thing. So he does he's always been obsessed with film, and
Right.
he obviously loved me getting into it. So I also had that there that really helped move that along. Um, but yeah, through that time, I discovered that it's a great source of comfort for me. Um, I was buying DVDs. I even quite recently actually now I buy like 20 DVDs for £1 and then watch a lot of them and then decide whether to keep it or donate it afterwards. And it just became a bit of a
Yeah.
thing.
Charity shop's
Um,
perfect for that, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
actually, yeah, that's another thing with charity shops that they always had DVDs and they're always
mhm.
dirt cheap because no one wants them anymore. Going back to the thing earlier about how but collecting something that no one actually wants, it's
Mhm.
you get some absolute
One
bargains.
man's one man's
Um,
rubbish is like another man's treasure, isn't it? I do the
yeah.
exact same thing of charity shops with records. I'm big into
Ooh.
like collecting records and vinyls. But obviously, you go to HMV, they're like 50, 60 quid sometimes. But if you go to a charity
Yeah, yeah.
shop, they're like HMV is not going to have like the old, like some of the old Aretha Franklin live
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Dallas, Texas, or some random like
yeah. It's bizarre.
live gig that's been taped onto a vinyl. So you get absolute great
Yeah, I
bargains.
mean, there's two sides of it. There's finding those like hidden gems in the charity shops, and also there's cheap DVDs of really good films, but no one wants it on DVD anymore, so you can get that cheap.
Hmm.
And then as it became a more serious hobby, I now go out and look for special editions, or if there's
Ooh,
like a film that comes out that well, not a film that comes out, a film that's not on streaming, and there's letterboxd app that I mentioned actually tells you what streaming services they're on, and
oh,
sometimes if
that's
they're not on
clever.
any, I will source that DVD and buy it.
Yeah,
Um, Normally secondhand, sometimes new. Just because I love the tactile feeling of owning the film and
yeah,
then being able to like put the disc in and play it. But yeah, I digress. That has just become such a brilliant source of comfort for me, and it all was rooted in this free time that I had to really explore that.
yeah.
Um,
Do you find that
so
you've sorry, do you
my,
find like this, so having this time off, obviously at the at the time it's like, oh, this is quite an awful thing that you're going through, quite a struggle, but
mm,
looking back, do you find you actually managed to help learn a lot about yourself in this period? And
yeah, I think I really did. On the one hand, I was healing from this thing, this brand new thing that I thought could never happen to me. Um, but I was using that time really well, and there's no shame in not doing that because you're healing from something, and if you don't feel able to like discover your life's purpose while you're recovering from mental illness, that's totally fine. But
yeah.
I just by chance happened to, and that really did help me through.
Hmm.
Um, and Yeah, so I'm on this new medication now, and then we're approaching the end of February, and there wasn't really an option for another month because I definitely well, by this point I was feeling a lot better, a lot more confident. Um, and then again, work really helped me out by saying I could have a phased return, so I wouldn't come
Nice.
back all guns blazing. I'd go back slowly. So
Smart.
the first week back, this is the first week of March, I went back to work half days,
Hmm.
and then slowly increased the week after, slowly increased the week after. Then the end of March is when I went back to work full time. Um, and so many little details here helped as well. So I had explored leaving that job while I was off. Like, should I just make a clean start somewhere?
Yeah.
Um, but like in that time, the manager that had been supporting me actually left, and a new manager came in, and the new person came in to do the job that's alongside mine. So I
Okay.
went into a whole new little team, and they were great. They were so great, and they didn't know that why I'd been off. In
Hmm.
fact, they didn't even know me. They didn't really. They kind of joined after I came back, so I could kind of start again with them starting again,
Yeah.
starting new.
So it felt like a
That
fresh start.
yeah, it all kind of worked out quite well in that way. Um, and then getting to like it's okay. So yeah, the timeline is October 23. It all kind of started. The cracks appeared, or August even. The cracks appeared. October, things compiled and it got worse and snowballed for a couple of months.
Hmm.
And then I hit the GP appointment and started to get really serious about um, you know, my mental health from a medical perspective, um, and understanding that and trying not obviously it was so confusing because I hadn't ever felt anything like this before. But that helped rationalize it because she was explaining things to me. I can't remember the conversation now, but I know she was explaining to me what's happening,
Hmm.
and that's perfectly normal to feel that way. And also to prescribe me this medication, and yeah, it was really productive chat. Um, and then um, and then it was just all about kind of it all started because I told my manager how I was feeling,
Hmm.
and um, yeah, I was really honest with her and told her exactly what's going on, um, and that I couldn't do it, and that I needed help. And if you don't take that first step and ask for help, then nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. Um,
Hmm.
And
It's so important.
I had no idea what support was available to me. I didn't need to know. I never thought I'd need it. Didn't think I had to read up about it. Um, but then you start reading about the policies the organization has and the procedures, the pay time off work, the evidence you have to provide, and all these things. And also I got those 4 free therapy
Mm.
sessions as well, which was the first time I spoke to a professional about how I was feeling. We even unpicked some things from my past, which made a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
That again, I never thought I'd need it. I saw other people go through it and have it, but I thought it would never ever be me.
Yeah.
Um, and then it was, and I had to adapt and learn to deal with that and go on my own recovery journey. And there's so many phases to it. But the first step was saying how I was feeling and being honest
Yeah.
and telling someone. Um, the next step was finding out what I can do about it, and hopefully, I was very lucky they helped me through that a lot. And she managed to put the work in to read the policies, the procedures, see what could be done.
Yeah.
Um, and then you've got the medical side of things and talking to a medical professional, um, and getting medication prescribed. And then it comes to having time off. And if you're lucky enough to have the paid time off, that's great. If not, it's still worth doing because if that thing, um, it might not be work for everyone, but if work is the one thing that's driving you down and you physically can't do it, you have to step away from it. You can't
Yeah.
just. Some people would say, "Oh, just like plow through and get on with it," but that's not always going to work. It definitely wouldn't have worked for me. I was like heading down, 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 and it's
Mm-hmm.
only time off and medical help and support and um, all these things. It's like no one thing is going to fix it. You have all these
No.
different levels and elements that feed into the recovery. Um, and without every single one of those, I wouldn't have been able to get to that space where I was.
Oh,
Um, Hello,
oh,
am I
your
still here?
camera. Your camera just shut off though.
God, that's good.
It's doing so well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Maybe I nudged the button. Okay.
Mhm.
Um,
But yeah, it takes all.
I
It's
was
not just.
on such a roll, but yeah,
Yeah, you are.
there were so many things, so many little things that contributed to my recovery in that situation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, my overarching message is like just it can happen to you, and when it does, you need to. I would much rather someone have a rough idea of what to expect and not go into it completely blind like I did.
Mm-hmm.
And to even know it's a possibility to take these mental health sick days, and taking that time to yourself to recover. Um, for me, it was what a 7 month process to get from the crack appearing to like really at the depths of it being really really bad, and then back to full confidence at work.
Mm-hmm.
And a year on now, I'm the best I've ever been. Um,
Amazing.
there's loads of other factors come into that. It's not really one thing that fixes it all. But my colleagues are great, my friends are great, my fiance is great, my family is great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, there's so many. You need like it takes a village. Everyone says that, but it does. Like you can't just do everything on your own.
There's not a
Um,
magic pill to just feel better. It is.
yeah,
But
well,
I think. I think.
the magic pill does help.
Well, yeah. So sometimes, yeah. But it's not like I say. It's not just one thing, but it's also. It's great having. I've touched on this on past episodes. It's great having the support system around you,
Mm,
having the family, the friends, the work. But then if you're not willing to accept that help and to also put the work in yourself,
mm.
you're not going to get better. So I think you also owe yourself a lot of credit to yourself
Yeah, so
for
true.
putting the work in on that time, because you could have just sat and done naff all for four
Yeah.
weeks
Mm.
and then gone back and you just delayed the problem rather than actually tackling it. So the
Yeah,
fact
that's
you've
so true.
put the effort in.
The whole time I was focusing on the external factors, wasn't I? Just like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, the manager help, the support help, the therapist, the medication, the family. But yeah, I did a lot of my own work in
100%.
really trying to get better. Um, Pushing yourself out there within reason was a big thing, obviously. Slowly
Hmm.
increasing what I exposed myself to. build up that confidence.
Yeah,
I
it's a good
also
way.
become more resilient as a result of it. I think if I receive criticism now, I feel better equipped to deal with it. I can't point to one thing that really made that happen.
Mhm.
And again, this whole time I'm speaking like this, I can't really tell you what the fix is. What's the one thing to do that gets you to this point? Why do I feel so different now? The medication probably helped a bit. Um, the external factors help. Having good colleagues. If a new manager had come in and been a terrible manager, would that have really set me off again? A lot of things have fallen into place at the same time.
Mhm.
But basically, just talk to someone. Know that support is there if you need it. You're literally never alone. There'll always be someone out there who will talk to you.
Yeah.
Um, and it feels great to talk about it. Um,
Good.
and getting to this point 1 year on, where I can fully just speak like the whole story really candidly and really
Yeah.
try normal. I just want to normalize it. That's all I want to do. I want to make it really normal for someone to have a mental health crisis and
Yeah.
recover from it. And um, yeah, that
I
that
th
is that is the
I love
crux of
it,
it,
man.
really.
It really is an incredible story because I think it's a unique one as well because for someone a lot of people, they can have it where they will get their confidence knocked and they'll have a crisis and then they it can almost become them. Whereas
Mm,
like you didn't succumb to, oh, like, oh, I just have anxiety now, that's it. Like you
yeah,
really kind of stuck to your positive mindset throughout and
yeah,
how you've kind of always been true to you kind of continue to be true to how you were before
mm.
having this issue and the knock of confidence. So
And
no,
it
it's
really can happen to everyone. Like I
yeah.
genuinely thought it would never ever happen to me, until it did, and then yeah, that is just thumbs up, really.
So
Um,
you kind of answered it, but a minute ago. But like when you look
mm,
back, how do you like think you've changed in your approach to anxiety and to like mental health in
mm.
general? Do you feel like you look at it differently now?
I think I do. I think because I feel like I can kind of see the warning signs more.
Hmm.
Um, I can definitely identify my sore points. Like I know that I'll take criticism badly, but if I do my job well, there's no risk of that. I don't know. Not really
Hmm.
the best way of explaining it, but like I knew that making mistakes and my confidence going down would take me down with it. Um, but um, I've got to a point now where I don't know how it exactly links together, but I'm so confident in my job now and what I do. I have complete confidence in my ability to do it. Um, and I think that definitely it must have come about from that because um, it's like that thing where when you work out your muscles, right, you literally hurt them, and
Hmm.
then the muscle recovering is what makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Like an actual, it must be something like that. Like
Yeah.
going through it,
100%.
um, I definitely feel like in my work now, I can see the warning signs coming. If I don't understand something, I feel so much more confident just asking the question
Hmm.
and finding the answer without letting it build up. I've also been quite lucky because nothing like that situation has happened again, where I haven't had a really bad week, not the confidence. I haven't been really tested since that, so it's quite hard to
Hmm.
say in terms of what would happen now if the exact same situation happened now. How would I react to it? But
Hmm.
another thing as well is that if you don't really know until you go through something once how you can respond to it.
Hmm.
So I feel like you kind of have
Yeah.
to go through things once to kind of know how to be strong the next time it comes around. And next, if
100%.
if like touch wood, it would never happen. If it did ever happen to me again, I've been through it. I know the processes. I know the admin. A lot of admin involved being mentally unwell. Um, but I've been through it, and I know exactly what would be required um, to get through it again. And
Yeah.
but I do feel like so much stronger in myself. I had never been tested
Good.
like that before, but now I have. I feel stronger. I feel
You feel
able to
better
deal with
for it.
things. Um, like I said, I don't feel anxious about things. I've got a bit of social anxiety, but I always have. Like, I've always kind of
Hmm.
But like I said, my resilience has grown. I think my ability to deal with setbacks has improved, and I can't really affiliate that to one thing in particular. But I feel like I can bounce back better.
Mhm.
Um, and Yeah, it's a combination of everything really. Everything I went through, every little detail, every person I spoke to, every new like tablet I took, every appointment I had, um, all contributed to this.
Mhm.
And under it all, like you said, actually, um, you've made me think about this for the first time. Is the work that I put in, supported
Mhm.
by all those other factors, really got me here.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that
You're
is
thriving.
that's it. Yeah, and I feel so able to tell that story just for people like me who need to hear that happens.
Mhm.
And you might everyone who saw me on the outside would have thought things were fine.
I had no
Um,
idea.
exactly. The outside world had no idea this was happening to me. Um, and yeah, you got to speak to people basically. Um,
Yeah.
and it's such an over repeated message. Like talk to your friends. You don't need to say like how's your mental health necessarily. Just kind of chat to them. At least let them know you're there.
Yeah.
Um, if you have an experience like this, then talk about it because even if even if you like for whatever reason go through it alone the first time, um, you then talking about your experience could help someone else. And I know
Yeah.
tangibly at least three people. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's like three whole
It's
lives that have
3
been
lives.
affected by me talking about my experience, realizing it's an option for them, and taking action to improve their own lives. And you have to you can't like on you can't keep it to yourself at the time, then you shouldn't keep it to yourself afterwards as well, because there'll be
Mhm.
people that can't be helped by your experience.
Yeah, 100%. You're
Yeah.
by being so open with your story and your experiences can really help someone else. Someone might listen to this and be going, "Fuck, I'm really going
Mm,
through something similar," and to know it's okay to be able to take those next steps or even figure out what those next steps are, because some people
mm,
can be in that situation and don't know what to do.
yeah.
So I think being able to, like I say, candidly, openly talk about these kind of crisis and just these conversations of these topics are just so important.
Mm,
But,
yeah, I couldn't agree more.
no, I'm
Um,
super proud of you, man. Like again,
yeah.
like not knowing. I
Mm,
mean, we met up in May last year,
yeah, true. Yeah, yeah.
and we had no idea
Mm,
what you'd been going through. Like we had a great time. It was
mm,
a good laugh. We're doing it
yeah.
again in
Yeah, I'm really
August.
excited for that. Yeah, it's gonna be
That's
good.
August is going to be fun. I
Mm.
think we've got a rented out an Airbnb for. I think it's like there's like 10 of us. I think
Oh my god, it's such a vibe. Such a vibe.
such a vibe. Yeah. Hopefully sun will be shining.
Mm.
I've um I've rented a barbecue, so
As
we
I've
can have
been
a barbecue.
speaking, as you were saying that actually, when we met up at EGX was when everything was falling apart at work.
Really?
That was the exact crossover.
Oh
When I
wow.
met you there,
Yeah.
everything was falling apart in my work life, and you wouldn't have known. I
No.
just went out, pulled myself together, and you can only pull yourself together so many times, right? I bet if
Yeah.
I tried to do that loads, it wouldn't have worked. But I only had like one social engagement a month. It was manageable.
Yeah.
Um,
So I can get it together for 6 hours, and then it's like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Go
But
out for a Chinese meal and
a succulent Chinese
great,
meal.
great
That's
time.
lovely. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
that makes me think of a quote. I think it was a Robin Williams. I think it's Robin Williams, where it's just be kind always, because you just
Mm,
don't know what someone's going
yeah.
through.
I really
And
hold that philosophy in day-to-day life.
yeah,
It's
because
just
it
also protect your peace as well is another one that I like
mm,
because um, you you can a lot of the time avoid situations that are gonna and people that are gonna cause you discomfort and stress in one way or the other.
mhm.
Um, and then you can do that work. So I'd already been doing that work for a bit in terms of um, setting my peace, not putting myself into stressful situations, not keeping people around that I didn't like or
Mm-hmm.
that weren't bringing positive energy towards me. Um, but that laid a strong foundation for when I needed to put all my effort into recovering from mental health. I already had a strong foundation in all my circles were strong at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in my circles was who I needed to be at that time,
Yeah.
and who I needed them to be at that time, and it meant I could just fully focus on recovering because it's not going to be easy for everyone. But if you can try and set your life up in such a way that if something happened to you, could you rely on people around you? Could you
Mm-hmm.
um, do you have those people to talk to? If you don't, could you find other I as in such a privileged position to have these people around me that I don't know what you do if you don't. But
Yeah.
there's always someone there. There's always someone there, and
Yeah.
um, little things as well. Like at your work, do they have these like employee care packages in place to look after you if you need help?
Mm-hmm.
Can you um ask someone at work, is there support in place? What could I? Is there someone I can speak to? My work has mental health first aiders, which is quite a cool
Oh
thing.
wow.
There's people I think who are just like trained of their own accord to help with mental health
Oh
situations.
wicked. Oh that's
But
good.
becoming familiar with that, yeah, just set yourself up that so if something went wrong, um, you can start to recover from it without any
Mm-hmm.
external influences making it worse. I guess that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I like that.
yeah.
It really is so key. And just to wrap things up here, I mean, you can't
Mm.
mention the quote there, but what is like one quote or a piece of advice you would give to
Mm.
someone listening, be it going through something similar or just in general?
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard one because like I said, my main thing for this isn't to. I'm not in a position to really give advice. I'm more here just
Mm-hmm.
tell people it can happen to you,
Yeah.
um, and when it does, or at least to see someone who looks so outwardly confident, know they've been through it, and I also, sorry, so many things that they also someone that's been through it and come out so much stronger the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but ultimately, the one and only thing to say is if you're feeling bad or you're feeling anxious, feeling depressed, you're feeling anything, talk to anyone, talk to someone, tell someone how you're feeling because
Yeah.
that is the snowball that will, build that is the one that's the domino I should say, the domino that you'll push that will turn everything into place. You just have to tell someone.
Mm-hmm.
Suffering in silence will not help you. Um, you have to talk to someone. That's all it is. Everything that I did, everything that got me here today, everything that got me through all of that, all my recovery was talking to people. Um, you can put in the work yourself. You can put yourself out there. You can build your own confidence, but you have to talk to people. And talking to
Mm-hmm.
people is how I got to such a healthy, confident place that I am now.
Dude, it makes me so
Mm.
happy to hear. I'm really, really happy to see
Thank
you
you, man.
thriving. I'm happy to see you back streaming, back creating
Mm.
content. And no, again, I had no idea that
Mm.
this had happened to you, but I'm super proud of you for coming out
Yeah, thank you
on
for
top.
giving people a platform to talk about this as well. So it is needed. People need to have these conversations. People just tell
Hmm.
these stories. Um, and if even one person can, see this and say or relate to it or learn one new thing, like, oh,
Yeah,
my work might have things in place that can support me. I didn't know.
yeah.
Um, all these things, yeah. Just
Then it's job
talk to
done.
people, talk to people, and yeah, do the work to find out what support is out there for you.
Hmm.
Um, if you ever need it. It's just good to prepare with these
Yeah,
things. As someone who thought it never happened to them, I wish I had done more beforehand to maybe maybe educate myself on what I could have done about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. My dad used to always say, prepare to fail
No,
or fail to prepare. Fail to prepare,
prepare
prepare
to
to
fail.
fail.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That
Awesome.
applies a lot. Yeah.
Ah,
Cool, man. Thank you. Thanks
Luke,
for having
thank
me.
you so much, man. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you for taking your time
Cheers, man. Thank
and
you.
sharing your story.
No worries.
All
It's
right.
been great. I hope it'll help someone.
For sure.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're not already, check out Luke's Twitch channel. Give him a follow.
It's happy vibes over there, I promise.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's constant good, positive, good vibes over there.
Cool.
All right, Luke, thank you, man.
Thanks.
Goodbye, everybody.